Alright, so here we are on F1 2010. I haven't played this game in years, but today Reece and myself decided to do a couple of lobbies on this game. I think we're doing open lobbies, but you know, it is to be expected that we are probably the only two persons at the moment in the world that are playing this game. So yeah, we're gonna do a couple of races on F1 2010 online. And yeah, it was the first time in quite a while that I've used my PS3 again, so I had to set up my capture card. Unfortunately, I am not able to live stream anymore because the rules regarding the authorization of third-party applications like the software that I'm using have been changed by YouTube. So yeah, that's why unfortunately it's impossible for me to live stream on the PS3, so that's why I just decided to record instead. Also, we're using a Hangouts call to talk with each other. And also, my Fanatec nor my Thrustmaster T300 works with this game, so I had to get my Logitech G27 out again to play this. So it almost felt like I rewinded back the years to you know, to back when I was actually using a PS3. You know, using a capture card, using a Logitech wheel, using Hangouts to talk with each other, just like you know, in the past with SRL. So yeah, it was pretty nostalgic as well to just, you know, play this game again and listen to the music and just see what it was like. So yeah, hopefully you're going to enjoy these couple of races. It was just something for fun. So the first race is at Istanbul, of course, a track that's that has been on the F1 calendar since 2011. So also nice to come here. Actually, Reece had never really driven on the circuit before, or at least not in a very long time. So you're gonna see that this first race here is very scruffy. This was literally my first time playing F1 2010 in many years. So anyway, the race is on the way for 3 laps here at the Istanbul Park circuit. Reece March takes lead in the Toro Rosso. Nice to see the old liveries as well. I'm in the Williams, as you can see. So into this corner, then Reece completely misses his braking point and goes off the track. And yeah, you will be able to see that this first race was quite a mess. So we take over the lead. I think I decided to wait up a bit to give Reece a chance again, because of course he went way wide into that corner there. Talking about going wide into the corners, I missed the chicane because I got a bit of a touch there from Reece, who gets past us again on this sort of, you know, I guess you can call it a back straight with a bit of a kink in it. I remember back on this game and also on F1 2011 that the slipstream used to be pretty powerful here. So coming into the chicane then, breaking down Reece and actually myself as well. I've gone in slightly deep, but it wasn't that bad. And Reece has gone in wide again. In the second part of the chicane, he actually went into the pit lane by accident because he just couldn't get it hooked up for the corner. So I just decided to run into the grass because I was kind of, you know, interested to what the force feedback felt like back on F1 2010. Of course, it feels very different also using a gear-driven wheel apart from a belt-driven wheel, or instead of a belt-driven wheel, sorry. There was, you know, little to no feeling in the force feedback. It felt like I was driving on air, basically. The only effects that the force feedback has in this game are the curb effects as we go around the outside of Reece then into this long left-hander. So, you know, of course, using a gear-driven wheel, every time I was going over a curb, and for Reece as well, he was using a G29, you know, it almost sounds like some kind of machine guns going off. But apart from that, there's barely any force feedback, so it's basically impossible to feel the car. And the physics can be pretty weird in this game, as you will be able to see later on. We get a warning there for illegal blocking because I was waiting up for Reece again. So anyway, we will shortly begin the final lap. So coming into the chicane then for the penultimate time, we cut the corner there a little bit and take out the bullet. Again, Reece is going very wide, he even spins out there. I think he half spun a little bit there, so I decided to wait up, but actually it was a bit closer than I expected, so we will move on to the final lap then. And you can see here going up the inside into whatever corner this is, we actually make contact, and I saw the half spin into the grass. Reece actually does the same thing, and I actually get a penalty for illegally overtaking him. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, the penalty system on this game can be very odd. So we get past Reece again, but it doesn't really matter because I've got 10 seconds worth of penalties. So Reece got a pretty good exit there. I think I once again waited up a bit as we make contact, and I fly off the track into the grass and somehow managed to get it back in a straight line pretty much. So yeah, this game as well, when you go sideways or when you're in the process of spinning, where you just jump on the brakes and lock up all 4 tires, sometimes your car just magically becomes straight again in a very weird way. So, you know, the physics on this game can be, yeah, very odd, like I said before. But, you know, it was very interesting to just play this game again for the first time in so long. I think the last time I played this game was in like 2015, 2016 when I did a career mode with Virgin. As we both make a hash of the penultimate corner. Reece decided to finish the race in the pit lane. I decided to do the same thing because I spun as well. So that's the end of our first race back on F1 2010. I finished 15 seconds behind, of course, with the 10-second penalty. So for the next race, we're going to move on to Barcelona in the rain. I think Reece actually picked this track because this is where he got his first victory in F1 2010 career mode back in the day. In the rain as well. So that's why we are doing Barcelona in the rain as a trip down memory lane. Nice rhyme there as well. Anyway, lights out and away we go then for the second race of the day. Reece on pole position and he maintains the lead into turn 1. So yeah, we will see how F1 2010 was like in the rain. So the Toro Rosso of Reece still leading the way as we come through turn 3. Bit of a twitch there with the backhand. It's so unpredictable in this game. Like sometimes you can be really surprised with the backhand kicking out as we now come into turn 4. Again, trying to get on the power as early as possible. And the backhand just kicks out. I completely overcorrect there. That's what I was talking about. Like it's so, you just can't feel what the car is doing. And sometimes when you get in a slide, you catch it and sometimes you don't. You can see there it almost looked like, you know, such a violent reaction from the car when I tried to catch the slide, because I just completely veered off to the left into the wall, almost like the effect was a bit exaggerated or something. It's weird. Anyway, you can see here into turn 8, Reece has made some kind of mistake where he's just waiting up for me. I think he was waiting up. So we take over the lead again. You know, again, this wasn't anything serious or anything. So yeah, we move on. Now coming to the end of the first lap, still in the lead of the race as we come on to the start-finish straight. About a second or two in front of Reece as we try to spot our braking point into turn 1. It is actually very nice to be in front in the rain of this game, because you will be able to see later on in this video the spray on F1 2010 when you're behind another car is just atrocious. I kind of like it. It's pretty realistic, but you can't see a thing when you're in the spray of another car. Into turn 10 then, on the penultimate lap, I really make a hash of that, and I basically half spun. I think if it wasn't for Reece's car there, I would have probably spun out, but he sort of straightened me out. So we hold on for now with just over a lap to go. So we're going to the final sector now, coming out of the final corner then to start the final lap of this race. Of course, Reece managed to win the previous round at Istanbul. Let's see if we can make it a 1-1 here, if I can hold on to this lead until the end of this race. Luckily, no penalties this time as we go into turn 1 for the final time, with still Reece March right behind me. And going into turn 3 now, you have to be pretty easy on the power here as well, especially in the rain, for the back end, not to do the same thing as what I did on the first lap in the corner that we're coming up to now, turn 4. And also a bit of a weird thing in the handling model of this game as well is that there is basically no understeer. Just like on F1 2011 as well, you can basically just go full lock into every corner. And you can only turn the wheel about 90 degrees, as you can see. So the only reason why you don't go full lock into every corner is because it makes the back end kick out a bit on the exit, or it makes the risk a bit higher of the back end stepping out. So coming into turns 7 and 8 now, still holding on to the lead. Bit of a twitch there, not a very good exit, and that gives Reece a chance now to go up the inside into turn 9. We try to sort of cut back underneath, and we get a slightly better exit as Reece, I think, touched the curb a bit on the outside there of turn 9, sorry. Breaking into turn 10 then for the final time. We missed the apex there a little bit, but still, I think it's enough for Reece not to get past us. We still managed to sort of carry the momentum there on the outside of the corner. So just the final sector to go then, the final chicane, very of course slow and technical part of the circuit. We actually get a touch there from Reece. I completely drifted across the corner. Luckily didn't get a penalty for corner cutting or anything. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, in this game. You could even get a 10-second penalty for slightly tapping someone. But actually Reece tries to go around this side. We lose the back end and we have lost the race win on the final corner, and that's 2 out of 2 for Reece then. I think Reece actually had a better exit and more speed carried through the corner at the end there. and I tried to just get on the power, but I lost the back end half spin, had to jump on the brakes. And you can see it straightened me out, but it lost me time. So Reece gets another victory there in Barcelona, just like he did all those years ago in career mode. So anyway, here we are then for the third round in Valencia. Of course, also a track that's not present anymore on the Formula 1 calendar. I think it was last seen in 2012, I think. So away we go then for 3 laps once again. Reece this time started in second place. I was in pole position. He now takes over the lead with a slightly better start. We tried to get back into the braking point of turn 1, and we actually managed to do so, up into the lead then. And yeah, it's also just really nice when you jump onto an old F1 game to just try out those circuits that used to be on the calendar, as I turned in a little bit too early there and clipped the ball. Again, missing the apex, locking up a little bit, and that gives Reece the chance again to take over the lead. But yeah, just really interesting to visit those circuits that are not on the calendar anymore, and it almost gives you a bit of a throwback to when those circuits actually used to be on the calendar. Anyway, as we break down into this middle sector, now I don't know the corner names or the corner numbers here, because that's how long ago it is. But yeah, nothing really happened. We're skipping on to the final lap now. You can see Reece actually went wide into turn 1. I actually cut the corner. Luckily, I didn't get an illegal overtake this time, because I think when you cut a corner and overtake somebody, no matter what, you will just instantly get a 10-second illegal overtake penalty. So, and that's with the penalties on reduced, by the way. If you got no realistic, you'll just get a drive-through or a 20-second penalty. So, yeah, the penalties can be very harsh on this game, as we go over the bridge into this right, very tight corner, almost clipping the wall once again. Like I said before, sometimes in this game, you just step someone and you get a 20-second penalty or a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. It's so weird. Anyway, yeah, it really makes you appreciate how far the F1 games have gone. Also, especially in the handling model. Like, the handling on this game, I mean, sure, it's almost a 10-year-old game. I saw hit the wall there once again. The rear tires are starting to wear out a bit as well, as I missed the apex there once again. We are getting close to the end of the race. I think Reece is very close. I think he might even be alongside on the right. It's difficult to see, but you can see now his left front tire alongside our right front tire. Again, Reece up the inside there. We make a bit of contact, but Reece takes the position as we now go into the final sector. And I hit the curb there a little bit. I go offline into the gravel, and that unfortunately gives Reece the advantage to drive off into the distance with just one more corner to go. But he actually waited up for me and let me through to win the race. And we win the race then by 0.7 of a second. So thank you very much, Reece. I really appreciate that. At least you gave me a chance there to win the race. So it's now 2-1 for us, as I got a trophy there as well. Yeah, it really makes you appreciate how Co-Masters have improved their games, because, you know, if you compare this to 2019, of course, you know, the handling is so much better on the modern F1 games. But anyway, you know, this is pretty enjoyable as well, I'd say, but it's not, yeah, of course, no more realistic. So anyway, round 4 then, here at Monza, in the rain once again, and I don't know what's happening. I think we were both confused there, because the lights were so difficult to spot. And of course, in this game, you don't actually see the lights up on screen, so that's why we both missed the starts. Anyway, into turn 1 then, we both saw the brake a little bit too late. I probably was the latest out of the two of us, and we barged into the side of Reece then, so that was a bit cheeky, but we take over the lead nonetheless, as I wasn't really paying attention there, and I dipped the wheel into the grass. So braking into the second chicane then, braking under the tunnel, just in front of the 150 meter point, and Reece completely misses his braking point there and crashes into us. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. It could well be. So anyway, we actually got the track to get back on the track, basically, and I got a 10-second penalty. So that's, again, a bit of a weird decision, getting a 10-second penalty there, because I literally just rejoined the track. But you know, that's how this game's logic works, so we're gonna press on. But you know, with a 10-second penalty, my chances of winning again are of course out the window, unless Reece gets another penalty. He actually goes up the inside into Ascari, and of course I didn't really want to try and accelerate on the curbs there, so we hold back a bit and stay in second place. You will be able to see here the spray. It's just so difficult to see. You literally can barely spot your braking point. I tried to pull out to the right to see my braking point, but I completely get it wrong. and we both fly off the circuit into the gravel trap, and that was of course completely my mistake and my fault. So I'm gonna probably let Reece go back through again. Yeah, I do get a warning for illegal blocking. That's always nice. Anyway, we will resume the races. We're now cut into the first Lesmo on lap 2. We've got Reece again up the inside here into the second Lesmo. We try to hang it around the outside. We managed to get the traction out of the corner, but I think Reece is still alongside us on the right, or he might actually be clear. And yeah, we are clear now because I pulled to the right again to break down into Ascari. Reece is still sticking by me. I thought he actually wanted to go up the inside, but he decided to think better of it. And now he is the one behind coming into Parabolica, so he's now the one that's getting all the spray as we break into the final corner for the penultimate time. You can see Reece did the exact same thing as what I did the previous lap. He couldn't see his braking point in the spray, and he completely plows into us as we come into the final corner. So yeah, we are basically about did the same thing. So I decided to wait up a little bit there, but we still hold on to the lead as we open up the final lap. I still managed to improve my personal best lap by half a second there, because I messed up the previous 2 laps as well. So into turn 1 then. This time managed to get it slowed down quite nice there without any lockups as we accelerate out of the first chicane onto this very long flat out right-hander curve again. And hopefully we will be able to get it lined up, hooked up this time as well for the second chicane, because in this game it's very easy to lock up and go straight on into this corner. Then again, pretty nice. I'm starting to finally get the hang of this game again in the rain. Into Lesmo 2 then I actually go a little bit wide there, miss the apex, and that might give Reece a chance here. I'm not quite sure where he is. I can't really see it because I don't have any mirrors or a virtual mirror, as we actually, I think we make a little bit of contact there. We managed to save it. Not sure where Reece is, because again on my preview window as well it's looking very small, and I'm not quite sure if he's alongside us. I think he might not just be. So we're coming into Ascari then. Reece is actually alongside us now on the inside. We try to hang it around the inside, leave the space on the inside there. I think we have got the leading position back, and Reece is indeed behind us now as we come into the final corner. Will he be able to get his braking point right? I think we both managed to make it stop this time. And exiting the final corner then, we will hang on to finally win another race here in Monza as we crossed the line. Did a bit of a brake check there, but actually I had a 10-second penalty, which I forgot about. So yeah, not a win for Reece, and that's where I'm going to end off this video. We did a couple of more races, but considering I've already been talking for about 18 minutes, so that's plenty for this video. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the other races in a separate video. So yeah, that's been it for my first time back on F1 2010. Thanks to Reece for joining me. I think it was actually his idea, but anyway, had some fun doing this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.